My name is Laurie Andrews. I was born and raised in Calgary. I've been a creative individual since as long as I can remember.
Laurie comes from a creative family. She and her siblings have grown up putting on annual talent shows, a tradition that still continues. Laurie also reveals her creativity in her professional life.
I'm a photographer and an interior designer. I do personal styling, I do creative work, I do art directing. I have probably about 20 different occupations. I started out years and years ago online on Flickr. It was one of the first social media sites. The social media has given me a lot of opportunities to partner not only with charities but with companies as well. I wanted to show that I was an interior designer who could work in any budget, no matter how small, because I was working with small budgets at the time. So I called myself the 10-cent designer.
Laurie discovered how powerful photography can be for documenting and promoting her work. She also discovered that she needed a model for her photos, so she began using herself.
I started out doing the self-portraiture just to add interest, because imagery in a landscape or even in an interior situation, if you place an individual in that landscape, suddenly the image is more interesting. There's a storyline.
In her early photographs, Laurie would conceal her face or even cut her head totally out of the photo.
Because I wanted to keep a sense of anonymity. When I realized that actually wasn't going to happen, I started including my head more, but I saw that people respond better to images where the head is obscured or cut off, because then they can place themselves in the image and they can relate to the image more. I don't even consider it to be me. My self-portraiture work isn't me, it's the character I'm playing that day. If I'm taking a self-portrait, some of them are fairly standard and I can just set up my camera, put on self-timer and take a photo, but maybe I'm out in a field, or maybe I'm in a boat, or maybe I'm on a bicycle. And I like to say, don't try this at home, because when you're taking a self-portrait and you're a moving target, it's very difficult to your camera angles. So there's usually 8 or 9 takes at least just to get the camera angle. And I use remote timers and triggers, so I'll ride past the camera and I'll be pressing my trigger, or I'll use a remote trigger and I'll be yards and yards and yards away in a field, and I'll press it and it'll be on self-timer as well, and I'll have to stash the trigger. Sometimes I'll spend 8 or 9 hours researching where I want to shoot it, collecting props, purchasing items, and then waiting for, if it's an exterior shoot, waiting for the exact right lighting conditions or the right month even, and then I go out and I shoot it, and that could take anywhere between 2 to 6 hours. And then I spend another 8 hours post-processing it. I asked for and received a Wonder Woman costume for my 40th birthday from my mother-in-law. She sewed it herself, and I loved it because I've always loved specifically Linda Carter as Wonder Woman in the 70s. And I've got several series that I've done where I've taken Wonder Woman to the mountains, to large open skies in Saskatchewan, all of my favorite places, so that I was able to, again, bring it all back to my childhood, to the favorite places I've gone and places that really mean something to me. And then there I am doing a self-portrait as Wonder Woman in the landscape with my cape flowing in the background. Most of my work is Alberta, Saskatchewan based. I want to showcase how beautiful Alberta is. I want to showcase how beautiful the place I live is, and bring attention for tourism, for my own purpose, to just show it off. Because really I think that Alberta Rocky Mountains, they're so spectacular and they mean so much to me, and I love being out there.
If you have an idea for Northwest Profiles, send it to KSPS TV, 3911 South Regal, Spokane, Washington 99223. Northwest Profiles is a presentation of KSPS Public Television.